Let me ask you something, and I want you to really sit with this question for a second. When was the last time you woke up and just knew, deep in your bones, that everything was going to work out? Not hoped, not prayed with your fingers crossed so tight your knuckles turned white, but actually knew. Like the sun rising, not a maybe, not a probably, just a quiet, settled knowing that life was on your side. If you can't remember, or if the idea even sounds a little bit laughable to you right now, then honey, you are exactly where you need to be. Stay right here, because the next 10 minutes might just change the way you talk to yourself for the rest of your life. Now I know what some of you are thinking. You're watching this on your phone, maybe in bed, maybe in the car, maybe hiding in the bathroom from your kids or your boss or both, and you're thinking, sure, everything's working out. My rent is late, my back hurts, and I just spilled coffee on a white shirt. And I hear you, I truly do. Life has this very special talent for making a mess right when you're trying to look put together. And the struggle you're feeling? That sense that things are hard, that you're paddling against a current, that some days you barely keep your head above water, that is real. I am not here to wave a magic wand and pretend otherwise. What you're feeling is valid, it's human, and you are not broken for feeling it. But here's where it gets interesting. Here's the part I want you to lean into. The reason life feels like it's working against you most of the time is not because the universe has a grudge against you specifically. It's not because you were born under a bad star or because you made too many wrong turns. The reason, the core of it, is this. Your mind is running a very old program, and that program was probably written when you were about 7 years old by people who didn't know any better, in circumstances you had no control over. And bless their hearts, they did what they could. But some of those early messages, things like, life is hard, or nothing ever goes my way, or I have to fight for everything I get, those became your operating system. And you've been running that same software ever since. On new hardware, sure. In a new city, maybe. A new job. A new relationship. But the same old code underneath. And why does that matter? Why should you care about some childhood programming when you've got real adult problems right now? Because here's the thing. Your thoughts are not just passive little observers floating around in your head. They are active. They go out ahead of you like scouts. They shape what you notice, what you attract, how you respond, and ultimately, what you create in your life. Science has actually caught up to this beautifully. Neuroscientists call it neuroplasticity, this extraordinary capacity of the brain to literally rewire itself based on repeated thought patterns. What you think consistently becomes a neural pathway, and the more you travel that pathway, the more automatic it becomes. So, if you've spent 30 or 40 years thinking, nothing works out for me, your brain has built a highway for that thought. It's smooth, it's wide, it's fast. And meanwhile, the thought, all is working out for me, is like a little dirt path in the woods that nobody's walked in years. The good news, and I want you to hear this as the genuinely wonderful news that it is that you can build new roads at any age, in any circumstance. The brain does not care how old you are. It does not look at your biography and say, sorry, too much damage, nothing we can do. Every single time you choose a new thought, you are laying down a new neural pathway. Every single time you repeat it, you are paving it. And eventually, with enough repetition, with enough gentleness and consistency, that new thought becomes the highway. That is not wishful thinking. That is biology. So let's talk about how to actually do this. Because I know that right now some of you are nodding along, and some of you are skeptical. And some of you have tried affirmations before and felt absolutely ridiculous, standing in front of a mirror, talking to yourself like a motivational poster that learned to speak. And that is fair. A lot of people do affirmations wrong. Not because they're bad at it, but because nobody explained the mechanics. Let me break it down into steps you can start using today. Step 1, and this is the foundation of everything. Start with what's true right now. Not what you wish were true. Not a giant leap from where you are. Just what is actually true in this moment. If your life feels like it's falling apart, you don't have to start by screaming, I am abundant and thriving. at yourself in the bathroom. That gap between where you are and what you're saying is too big, and your brain knows it's a lie, and it will reject it like a bad transplant. Instead, start with something like, I am open to good things coming my way. Or, even simpler, I am willing to believe things can get better. That is true, isn't it? You're here. You're watching this. Some part of you is already open. Start there. That tiny bit of willingness is a seed, and seeds are enough. Step 2. Be gentle with yourself when the old thoughts come back. And they will come back. Let me save you the trouble of being shocked by this. You will say, all is working out for me in the morning. And by noon, something will happen that makes you feel like the universe is laughing at you. Your old thoughts will roar back in like they own the place, because in a way they still do, for now. The mistake most people make is to use that moment as evidence that affirmations don't work. See, I tried it, and it didn't work. But what's actually happening is completely natural. You're renovating a house that's been standing for decades. You don't knock out one wall and expect the whole place to be transformed overnight. When the old thought comes, just notice it, gently, without drama. Oh, there's that old story again. And then return to the new one. Not with gritted teeth, not with force, but with the same patient kindness you'd show a child learning to walk. They fall. You don't yell at them for falling. You help them up and cheer them on. Step 3. Feel it in your body. This is the part people skip, and it is so important. An affirmation said, with your mouth while your body is clenched with anxiety, is like trying to plant seeds in concrete. You've got to soften. Before you say the words, take one breath. Just one. Let your shoulders drop. Unclench your jaw. Relax your belly. And then say the words from that softer place. When you do that, you are talking to your whole nervous system, not just your mind. You are signaling to every cell in your body, we are safe, we are okay, things are working out. And your body, which has been braced for disaster because that's what old programming tells it to do, starts to relax into that new story. Step 4. Use the morning like it's gold, because it is. The first few minutes after you wake up are extraordinary in terms of how receptive your mind is to suggestion. Your brain is literally in a more malleable state. It's like wet cement before it sets. What you pour into those first moments goes deep. So before you pick up your phone, before you check the news, before you let the world rush in, just take 1 minute, 60 seconds, and say to yourself, out loud if you can, or in your mind if you can't, something like, today, all is working out for me. I trust that life is on my side. I am moving in the direction of my highest good. Say it like you mean it, or say it like you're practicing meaning it. Both count. Step 5. Stack it with evidence. Your brain is a meaning-making machine, and one of its favorite things to do is collect evidence for whatever it believes. If it believes nothing works out, it will notice every red light, every unanswered text, every plan that falls through, and it will add that to the pile. See? Told you. So we're going to use that same tendency, but for good. Every evening, before you sleep, I want you to find 3 things, just 3, that worked out that day. They do not have to be big. They can be tiny. The parking spot you found, the email that arrived just when you needed it, the fact that your body carried you through another day. Write them down if you can, or just name them quietly to yourself, because what you are doing is teaching your brain to see evidence of life working in your favor. And slowly, that becomes the lens through which you see everything. Now here's a little thing I want to add, because I think it matters more than most people realize. Sometimes, all is working out for me doesn't mean things are going smoothly. Sometimes it means something falls apart, and later, much later, you realize that falling apart was the best thing that could have happened. The job you didn't get, that freed you up for something better. The relationship that ended that finally made space for real love. The plan that crumbled, that forced you to find a more authentic path. Life has a way of working things out, not always on our schedule, not always in the way we imagined, but with a wisdom that is sometimes breathtaking in hindsight. So when you say, all is working out for me, you are also practicing trust. You are practicing the willingness to believe that even what looks like a setback might be a setup, that even the hard chapter is part of a story that makes sense in the end. And I know that can sound easy to say and hard to feel when you're in the middle of something painful. So I'm not asking you to pretend it doesn't hurt. I'm asking you to hold both things at once. This is hard right now, and I trust that I will find my way through. This is not what I wanted, and I believe something good is still possible. Both things can be true. Holding the difficulty and the hope at the same time, that is not weakness. That is one of the bravest things a human being can do. Now I want to talk to you about the people in your life for just a moment, because this work doesn't happen in a vacuum. Some of you are going to start doing this, and someone close to you is going to look at you sideways. Maybe a sibling, maybe a partner, maybe that one friend who considers themselves a realist, which usually means they've decided pessimism is a personality trait. And they're going to say something like, "That's nice, but real life doesn't work that way." And you're going to feel a pull, that old familiar pull, to shrink back down, to stop hoping out loud, to agree that, yes, life is hard and that's just the way it is. Here is what I want you to remember. In that moment, you are not responsible for other people's relationship with possibility. You are only responsible for yours. Let them have their story. You are writing a new one. This is your call to action. Right now, today, not someday, not when things get better, not when you have more time or more energy or more certainty. Today. I want you to do just one thing when this video ends. One small, manageable thing. I want you to take 60 seconds before you go back to your day and say this out loud. All is working out for me. Life loves me and supports me. I am moving forward with ease and joy. Say it once. Say it 3 times if you're feeling bold. And then carry it with you into your next hour. Not because 60 seconds of words will magically transform your life, but because every single journey begins with one step. And that step, taken with intention, is the beginning of something real. Comment below right now and tell me, on a scale from 1 to 10, how much do you currently believe that things are working out for you? Be honest. A 1 is totally fine. A 1 is brave. Because naming where you are is the first step to getting somewhere new. And I want to know where you are. I read these, and when I see you showing up for yourself in the comments, it matters. If this video is speaking to something in you, share it with one person who needs it. You know who they are. That friend who's been having a rough time, that family member who needs a little hope today. Share it. Because sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is say to someone, "Hey, I thought of you." And if you want more of this, more tools, more conversations, more of this work of building a life you actually love from the inside out, subscribe. Because we are just getting started, and there is so much more to explore together. I will leave you with this. You came into this world perfect, worthy, and whole. Life has layered some things on top of that truth, and sometimes those layers feel very heavy. But they are not the truth of you. The truth of you is still there, unchanged, waiting to be remembered. And every time you choose a thought that honors your wholeness, every time you say, "All is working out for me," and mean it just a little bit more than yesterday, you are remembering, you are coming home to yourself. Go gently, go with love, and trust, truly trust, that all is working out for you.